Man, the music should like fade a bit longer. I feel like the music stops too abruptly. I'm just kind of getting in the flow.
We're all
You
swinging and dancing while the scene is going, right? And you guys don't
you
see it. That's just perfect.
you asked for it shorter. I made it shorter.
It's true. That's true. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Home Assistant Release Party 2025.2. That means that's already the second release of the year, second month of the year as well. That's how we roll. Just a quick roundabout intro. We have a great release, but let's start with some who are we, right? So my name is Paulus Schouts. I'm the founder of Home Assistant, president of the Open Home Foundation.
Hi, I'm Frank, and I'm the lead engineer of the Home Assistant project.
Hello, I am Missy. I am your community manager.
And my name is Matthias. I'm product UX designer at Nabokasa and work mainly at Home Assistant.
Nice.
You described that so nicely, Missy. Normally, you're like, I'm the king, queen ship poster or something, but this works too. This works too.
It does work. It does. It really does. We're on Year of the Voice Part 3. By the way, guys, we're on Year of the Voice Part 3. We're getting there. Third year in a row.
So on the topic
Year
of Year of the Voice, there's a lot of cool stuff in voice in this release. We're gonna show you small sneak peeks of it already in this release because it is launching. We're not holding this back. But next week, same channel, same time, we have Year of the Voice Chapter 9. Third year of the voice, so that's pretty good. And we got, it is a good one. So if you have a voice PE, you'll be very happy. If you're just using Assist any other way, you will also be happy. So there's something for everyone there. If you like AI, also good. So definitely
If you don't have voice PE, get one, right? Like,
oh yeah, they're back in stock in some places, and then they sell out and we go back in stock again. So it's going great. Also, because this is like we're doing a marathon, in 2 weeks, also on this channel, ESP Home will have a live stream. So we've been trying to do this quarterly. So we did one last year, and it's coming back. So we start the year fresh. We're gonna do a nice live stream. We're gonna talk. ESP Home is gonna talk about LVGL, if I say it right. A cool new toolkit we added to add super nice graphics on screens. It's going to be a good one as well. So going to meet the team, Jesse, Keith. Yeah, definitely join in for that. But
Jesse on the stream?
I think so.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's a must watch. That's a rarity.
Yeah,
it's going to push us up. It's going to push us up 1 hour because he's in New Zealand, so it's a little earlier, even earlier for him than me. So it'll be up an hour, but yeah, you'll see it on all our socials.
Nice.
He's from the future.
Oh,
he is. Yes.
All right. So we got a good release going. Shall we just kick it off with last release? We revamped.
Let's talk about last release.
Just go in.
Yeah, we should talk about last release. That's for sure because there were so many comments. Are you holding up, Matthias?
I have a lot to say indeed. So for full context, so in January, so last release, we released the first iteration of our new backups. We already had backups, and what we know is that not everyone had set up a good backup strategy, and what we mean by that is that you have a 3-2-1 backup. And 3-2-1 backup strategy means at least 3 backups on 2 different locations where one of those is offsite. And we know some of you using different kind of add-ons which work perfectly, but we also know that a lot of users didn't have a good backup strategy. So with January, we introduced that one and a secure one. By secure, we meant one of the things is that we made the backups always encrypted. So that was a first iteration we made. And it set also a stage for other contributors to add locations, because in January we also add the first locations next to your own local system, and that was Nabokasa. So in Home Assistant Cloud backup. So you could have a 3-to-1 backup strategy there already if you were an Avocado subscriber, where the second location is an offsite location to Home Assistant Cloud.
And the
So that
idea
was
behind
January.
this- The idea behind it was that we could allow for integrations to extend the backup integration, right? And provide other locations where you could store backups to, but also automate it instead of manually as it was before, and things like that. But January was really was set to be like giving an automated experience that is an MVP where we can build on top of it, right? It was meant to build and set a foundation. But the foundation was probably the thing that triggered a lot of people because like tons of ideas, comments, opinions came up. Let me share you a little bit of like the statistics. We had a total of 1,200 comments on this release, which is an absolute breaking record, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've
Absolutely.
read them all.
Yeah, I went through most of them. To be honest, I've skipped a few. There were some that were like non-human comments, if I may say so, which was a sad thing to see, actually. We're trying to do the right thing, all of us and everybody in the community as well. It was a bit demotivating at times. But in general, like we took the positive things out of this, right?
Correct.
So we looked for the most common things that have been said. We sat down. Matthias made a lot of UX and designs. We've discussed in many meetings a lot of things, to be honest. Like there were conflicting comments in this list as well, right? And we think we come up with a good solution. Considering the amount of comments this release, we spent most of this release cycle in improving the backup integration again, like on top of what we already done last release to, well, help with all the comments you guys had, right? We want to deliver something and make you guys happy. That's what we do. That's why we do this. So, yeah.
Indeed.
So we just dive in, or you want to like highlight some stuff, or how do we want to approach this?
So I've got I've got one. So there was a couple of things as feedback from the community, and the first thing is that we learned that backups has also been used for getting a specific file out of the backup.
Right, version control.
Version control. So in January we made every backup encrypted, and that's for security purposes. But by doing this, we basically helped new users or users that have a certain flow. But we know we also have veteran users that have their own flow or user flow or way to use Home Assistant. And one of those things is what I just mentioned, is to get a specific file out of a backup. And encrypting a backup doesn't help you in that sense because it's encrypted and you have to decrypt it first. So encryption was a hot topic in the forum. I think more than half of them are about encryption. So we addressed this one. So maybe you can show some stuff there, Frank.
Yeah, I can share my screen. Hold on. Yes, I can. Doing this live now. Sorry.
We're going to do release notes. Are we going to do release notes or like the app?
No, I actually have to. Let me share the right tab here. Hold on.
There you
Let
go.
me
Okay,
do a little bit enhancement like FBI can do.
Enhance.
Like enhance, and stay sharp and such. It's
good.
amazing. Here we go. So, where do you want to start, Matthias? You have to guide me a little bit here.
Yeah, so
Encryption.
let's start with encryption. So what we for encryption, we did two things. So first off is you can now turn off encryption per location. So Frank here has his local system, this system, encryption turned off. So you get a nice little notification that it's turned off. So it's always encrypted by default, but if you want, you can turn it off. So that you can turn it off for your network storage if you added one, or we're not gonna spoil the other locations yet, because those we're gonna mention later, but all kind of locations with one exception, and that's Home Assistant Cloud. You can turn off encryption on Home Assistant Cloud.
We don't want your data.
Correct. So if you turn it off, it's basically for you to get, but be aware where you store this backup, because everyone with this backup can get your data in there, and the data in there can also have your passwords and keys, whatever is in there.
And I think here it's also like we want you to store things encrypted, right? Like Matthias said, this is really important information. Like, don't just upload this to whatever, a Google Drive, it gets indexed, and who knows where it gets spread out. Somebody gets access to that account, gets access to your whole house, right? So to make kind of also a middle ground where like you can keep encryption, but you can still download your backups unencrypted. The second feature we've added is that whenever you use the Home Assistant interface to download a backup, you will always download the unencrypted backup, even if the backup is already encrypted. So it doesn't matter that you have encryption turned on. The moment you hit download inside the Home Assistant UI, right, what Frank's showing right now, it will always be an unencrypted backup. That way, if you want to get a file out, you want to use it to upload somewhere, you can do it. Go do your thing.
And the cool thing about this is, right, I have, as I showed and Matthias highlighted, my local drive doesn't have encryption. Home Assistant Cloud has, because you cannot turn it off, right? But if I would have turned on encryption on all, or only have a backup available remotely and download that one, it will still decrypt it on the fly. So no matter if the destination where it downloads from, like the source or the location where it downloads from is encrypted or not, it will always ensure you get an unencrypted version once you download it from the Home Assistant UI.
Yeah.
Test 1, 2, 3. Do you hear me better now in the chats? I see some comments that my mic is a bit low. Hope this is better.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I see somebody saying, like, what if you can download from outside Home Assistant? Well, if you have an offsite backup, that's always possible, right? You can log into your Nabukasa account. You can download your encrypted backup there. If you are, I don't know, if you use one of the new Google Drive, OneDrive, Synology backups, you can just go to those locations and get your backup files.
You're an ass. Just browse to it and get it there.
Oh, and that brings us to a nice new feature, because if you ever if you use the network folder, which was a feature also in the last release, to store your backups, you might have noticed that the file names were cryptic, right? They were just a hash, and they were just not meant to be human consumed. It was really like you use the Home Assistant UI, and that's the way to go, because that's how it was originally designed, because backups were stored locally. In this release, we have updated the file name. So now the file name includes the version number of Home Assistant, what is inside the backup, and the timestamp. So you can quickly find that version that you want to download and get it. This is the old file name, Frank.
Yeah, I know. So previously it would have been like this, like an ID. And we have improved this, and even this is an old version because we fixed this little weird thing in the middle. Yeah. But the backup file names are now, well, if you visit it on your NAS, you can actually make sense out of it, right? You know what it is. It's an automatic backup from Home Assistant. It's this version and when it was taken. So you can instantly see it, which is just really helpful.
Yeah. It is good. So I see somebody asking, do backups work in Docker? Yes, that's actually been part of the last release. Backups now work on every platform. Doesn't matter if you use a core, container supervised, or Home Assistant OS installation, the last one being our recommended one. The backups and making backups, restoring backups works on all of them. Yeah.
Yep. The cool thing about it is that all the automation stuff around it works too, right? If you set in a schedule, then like even on a container, that works. Like that's not a feature limited to any other installation type. It's like the same experience for everyone.
Yeah.
No.
Talking about schedule, shall we show some scheduling?
Thank you for picking that bridge up. So smooth. Okay.
Like we prepared for this.
All right.
So in the previous release, we introduced automatic backups that helped you create backups and do retention. And we picked a time slot for you, and that raised a lot of questions. So why 4:45? The reason was that Home Assistant is doing a bunch of stuff before that time. And we know for sure at 4:45 it's done. A couple of things it's doing. It's cleaning up your database, for example. That means that your size of your backup is smaller and it gets rid of older stuff that's not needed. So for a backup, that's the perfect time to do it after the cleanup. We learned and we knew this, so it was the first iteration and we wanted to improve this. So in this release, we added customizations to the schedule and to the time. So talking about time, let's do that one first because there was the most questions about the system
interesting
optimal one. Yeah, good.
I want to add the interesting part to this is that we actually built the backend to support like all these customizations in the previous release. There was simply no UI to it. There were a lot of comments on it, which is cool, but we reduced the scope basically for the first release to iterate. And that's what's happening now, right?
Indeed. So talking about the time, so here Frank has set it to system optimal one. That's the default one.
Yeah.
What we did here is, and we have a small description next to it, is that between 4:45 and 5:45, there will be a backup created. So if you go one page back to the home of the backup page, you can also see one page back, yeah, and to the top. Scroll to the top. There, you see the specific time Home Assistant selected it for you. So it's between that time you have set. But if you have, for example, a network storage that is turned off at night, that's one of the reasons, or if you really want to do a specific time, you now can. So if you change that one, it's not between that window in an hour, but it's on your specific time. So can you go back to the...
Yes, I can.
Settings.
So I can configure it.
Correct.
And instead of the system optimal time, I will now select a custom, which will bring up this one.
Correct.
Nice.
So I like to do it at
Just before the database cleanup. That's perfect.
no PM because like that during lunch, during lunch, of
why
course.
not?
Like that's
why
cool.
That's good.
I'm eating at that point.
Yeah.
So
That's a good one.
Yeah. And the other customization is, of course, days. So instead of doing it daily, some people really want to do it custom. So if you change that one, you can select the specific days in a week you want to create a backup on.
Yeah. So only Taco Tuesday, Fish Friday, and otherwise.
when you have longer lunches, basically. Well done. That's a good explanation. So Taco Tuesdays. Here we go.
Yeah.
That's it. So twice a week it will be in this case at lunchtime. And if it's all right, then it should show that right now. Look at that.
Oh,
Ta-da.
Nice.
it works. And then arises the question, because we've seen the feedback is that, but I want to do an advanced automation. I want to do it when I'm at home and my cat is outside and the lights are turned on. Sure, you can.
So you can, and actually there's a nicer use case to this because besides the time, which we could do with the time trigger, right? You could still do fixed time, like this is a bad time, but let's do this. At this time, trigger a backup, but let's say your NAS is actually offline at that time, right? So you have two options. One, you could actually like move the time to like during the day, but that's also suboptimal, right? But with this automation feature, you could actually make an automation that triggers at 12 at night, then turns on your NAS, waits for it to come online, and then there it is. There's a create an automatic backup call.
Yeah, perfect.
This was too fast, I guess. Let me try again. Sorry, I'm sometimes so much used to this, but backup, create an automatic backup. There we go. So there's the action. So you could add an action in here that turns on your NAS, waits for it to come online, create a backup, and then shut it down a while later. There we go. So you can do whatever you like. And indeed add conditions, right? Abort if I'm not asleep. or when the alarm is not armed, or like you can add all kinds of stuff in here. So you can go wild on the conditions you want to back up on if the standard set of things that we now have added, like the time and the days you can select. But if you want to go further, go ahead. You can build it the way you like.
So I see a question here from Goozer3000 asking, does the automatic backup action cleans up the old backup? And the answer is yes. So we trigger one. If you have a retention set up, I want to store the last 3, then you create a new one will be deleted. Yeah.
Because asking, is there a backup completed trigger? Not yet. There are discussions around this on how we should do that. We've seen the feedback on this actually in the discussions of the previous release as well. But it simply didn't make it yet. We haven't finalized the discussion on that one, and we haven't built it yet. Would be good though for this use case.
You can make the lights flash. You can know your lunch is over. It's like, yeah, backup succeeded.
Backup succeeded. Time to back work over.
It's time to be fired. You could also, like, when it's done, turn your NOS back off or whatever, right? Like, they'll know a very clear time when it's actually done.
I mean, shouldn't the services block till it's done? Like,
I'd hope it would.
Ideally, yes. I'm not sure if it blocks for syncing the backup offline, but that's.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We'll check. I'm not 100% sure how to answer that one.
Good. Well, there's one more feature that we haven't talked about, which was also one that we thought we have automatic backups. We don't need this feature anymore, and the feature is only causing problems. And apparently there were people that really liked this feature, and that is the toggle on an update entity. And so the reason we didn't like this toggle is that this was actually one of the drivers behind revamping the backups, because people kept making backups, but there was no way to clean this backup. You only saw a screen to make backups. And that sucks because people run out of disk space, and well, now they need to find backups. They didn't realize they spent like 10 gigabytes on backups. So there was a missing learning curve. So we removed the toggle. A lot of people like this toggle. And we decided to put it back, but with a twist, because we like a twist. Now, we rethought about it, and basically we came up with a rule for ourselves. We don't want to offer a toggle to make a backup outside of the backup UI that doesn't have a retention policy attached to it. So what does that mean? In this case, you see a core update. It will ask you if you want to make an automatic backup. So just as we just discussed this, the question of Goozer3000, you trigger an automatic backup, it triggers the retention policy, right? So this toggle, it will make an automatic backup. It backs up your whole system because that's actually also what you wanted. The old approach would only back up the core and not the add-ons, for example, for Matter, Z-Wave, Zigbee that you use for it. So this is a lot better. So for core, this is the new way to go. This defaults to off, but you can turn it on and then you make a backup. Now do note, this is going to make a backup. It's going to synchronize the backup. Then it's going to do the update, right? So you have a big backup file. This can take a little bit. But this is, you want to make sure your backup is synchronized off-site in case things go wrong, right? So
and we learned that the specific users so if you, for example, have energy data and you really want to make sure that energy data is backed up, we know you can turn on this toggle. Yeah. Or if you made, for example, a lot of changes in your automations and then there's an update, you can also turn it on, right? Create an extra backup.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this dialogue now is that it also shows when the last time was that you did a full backup, right? So you instantly know how much time it was ago, right? If you upgrade multiple times a day or upgrading multiple things, you instantly see like, hey, like this wasn't 30 minutes ago, I already created one that's good enough for me, so I skip it this time. Or maybe you don't want to, like you can make a decision based on the data that's here for yourself if you want to make this backup. The reason why we do the full backup for core is very simple, because if Home Assistant itself, the core updates and it fails to come back online for whatever reason, maybe a custom integration like destroys your Home Assistant instance and is not able to get back online again, then the only way to recover from that potentially is either to go into tech mode and like hack around in consoles or whatnot, or you can restore a backup. And to have that backup, you had to have access to Home Assistant, right? Unless you use this toggle right now, this will do a full backup, including the offsite once you've selected, meaning you always have a way out. So if you update Home Assistant Core, you always, with this toggle, you always be sure there's like a full system backup offsite that you can later pick up in order to restore if something goes south.
Yeah. Now, what if you don't have automatic backups configured?
Yeah, so that's me, actually. I have it configured for, yeah. So I didn't touch backups at all. I was a YOLO user and absolutely didn't touch backups. My stuff has not been backed up until this beta. So what I do is I just click backup and it saves it on my actual green, right? It saves it on my SD card. So what about those of us who do that? How are we going to actually get anything back? Are we screwed?
Yeah. So if you both one step back, Missy, because if you don't have automatic backup set up, what we do is that this is my Home Assistant instance for my dev instance that I just brought up today. We will offer you to create a manual backup. So there's still this toggle, you can still create a backup. But of course, if it is offside, like if it's not offside, like Missy says, and everything would crash, then you don't have access to it. Now, granted, this is Home Assistant. This stuff is rock solid, right? Like if Home Assistant doesn't come up, we roll back. If the operating system upgrade fails, we have dual partitions, we roll back. The odds of this happening is very little and very small and tiny, but a backup strategy needs to be sound, right? If there's if something can happen and you don't have all of your Home Assistant installation and you spend like months on this, right? That would suck. So even though we try everything to keep everything running, up and running, and with fallbacks, offsite, a different machine is always a good idea.
Yeah. And then, so when these manual updates are actually created by this toggle, we talk a little bit about deleting the previous one that is made. One of the questions during beta was specifically around, well, if we do the automatic update through that toggle, will it delete a manual update that we had done before? And the answer is no. No, not at all. It only controls the update or the backup that it makes, the toggle itself makes.
Yeah.
Any backup you create manually through the backup panel, like those are untouched by us, right? We put them there, they stay there until you delete them. They are yours. You decide how you manage them and do what you do with them. We will never delete those things. We don't touch that.
Now, the other place where we have returned and restored the toggle is for add-ons. I don't have an add-on. Do you have an add-on ready?
Of course. Look at that. Look at that. This is my shitty system. So there's a lot of stuff in it. Look at that.
So this is also really cool. What we did here is, like I said, we want to make sure we offer toggles with retention policies. Now, add-ons, it can be part of a full backup, but we're not going to offer you a whole full backup on every add-on update. That's too much, right? So this will make a backup of your add-on just like before. However, when we asked around, like, what do people use add-on backups for? Is, well, to restore the last version. And lo and behold, actually, as we released the last month's release, there was a very popular Zigbee-related add-on that misconfigured a little bit, causing people to delete their add-on. People wanted to restore it. And so this feature would have been in handy. So we're adding it back in a way that we will restore your last add-on if you may toggle this. So we will have a backup and a retention policy of keep one backup around. This backup succeeds, we do the update. You can always roll back, and that's it. If you want to stick to a specific version, have like backups, just make manual backups. That one you can do whenever you want for like if you go from a 1 version to a 2.0 version or something, you want to maybe have like a bigger backup or like a different 1 versions to roll back to or something, you can do those kind of things. But otherwise, this should be good for, like, this is what most people were using it for.
So right now, if you decide to upgrade an add-on and you want to be secure and do not like get your latest data, that's basically it, right? There's still your automated backups. If you have set those up, like if you have automated backups, the add-on will be in there if you have like set that up correctly. So most of the time, if you set up normal automated backups, I think unless you care about the data that this add-on provides, you shouldn't have to set this toggle, because if you have a full system backup, you can actually restore a single add-on from that full system backup. But otherwise, you can set this toggle, and we will keep this backup, this version around of this add-on, and then upgrade. Meaning that if the upgrade fails, you can always fall back to the previous version. And the versions before that, we clean up for you. So you will not get in like a situation where you run out of disk space, which is also not a really fun situation to get into, to be honest.
Yep. All right, I have two questions. They kind of one will bridge into the other. This one is, where do add-on backups live?
I can show.
Yeah. So they live in the backup panel. Everything lives in the backup panel.
Oh, I didn't check the box. That's stupid. Okay, never mind. Anyways, there are... I know I had 0. That's why I'm trying to... Anyways, if you create one, they will show up in this part, the add-on update. So we now have 3 types of backups, basically the automated one, which are full system, synced offline, the manual ones, which you create with Backup Now and manually decide what to do with them. And number 3, which is added this release, are the add-on update backups. So there are 3 types of backups here. And that's where you can find it.
Yeah. Good. And this brings us to the next question, which I don't want to go too deep, but like, can you show the actual rollback process? Now, we're not going to actual click rollback, but we can open a backup, right? If you open a backup, you click on it in Home Assistant, you see this file page, and then you can actually, from every backup, you can do partial restore. So you don't have to restore the full backup. You can say, I want just Home Assistant history. I just want a specific add-on from a backup to restore. You select whatever you want. You scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you just hit backup or restore. And then
this one.
Restore. Yeah.
There we go.
That's it. Now this add-on version and data is being restored from this backup. So you can make full backups, just restore partially. Everything just works like that. Backups can also be uploaded either in the user interface in the previous page or during onboarding. So if you buy a Home Assistant Green, you can bring your backup either from, you can just upload it. In the next release, you will be able to also log into Home Assistant Cloud and directly restore it from Home Assistant Cloud. Yeah, granted, you have your encryption key, of course, because we don't know your data.
I don't think it's back yet. Or there's no update. I didn't it's not a version referred. I thought it would pop up as an update. That's not a version referred. It's just referring back to a specific date. Same version. Sorry. But yeah, you can indeed restore separate parts from a full backup.
Yep.
Which is, by the way, pretty much unknown somehow. We should highlight that better maybe, but it's a really useful feature.
You mean we need to talk more about backups?
I honestly, I feel like we've been talking about backups for 3-4 months now, constantly. I think this is an important feature. Personally, I would love to talk about something else later this week and next release as well. Nevertheless, it has been great, right? We have been making big strides, so that's really cool.
Good.
One last thing on backups, though.
Oh,
yes.
I thought we were there. Okay.
No, not yet.
Nope, we
got some extra locations.
Oh,
we mentioned it briefly.
I said 4. I said 4 last release. I expected 4. How many do we have?
Hold on.
Where's the drum?
Drum roll. Oh shit! Wrong tab. Let me try again. Here we go.
Boom. Okay, 5.
This is cool about Home Assistant, right? So
yeah, this is really cool.
We set the stage and contributors jump in and just create locations. I love this. This is so cool.
Yeah. This is what we envisioned from the extensibility of the backup system, and this is so cool. We see indeed to actually like name it out, call it out. We have Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, and Synology DSM this release that are added as integrations that support backup locations now. Meaning, in this screenshot, if I create a backup, that single backup will go into all of these 5 locations and spread around. So you can add a little bit redundancy if you want to. Like, this is maybe a little bit too much, but if you really want 5 locations, you can do that now. That's cool. So yeah, that's super nice. Yeah. I do want to highlight the 2 of them, actually. One is Synology DSM is interesting because you can actually already couple your NAS to Home Assistant, right? You can actually already add a media folder or a backup folder from your NAS that is exported to Home Assistant and then backup to it. So why this integration? Well, the answer to that is actually pretty nice because you don't have to know how to make a share. You don't have to know how to connect to it. You don't have to know the technical details to set it up. In this case, the Synology NAS will automatically be detected by Home Assistant and discovered. You add the integration, you log in, and it will show up as a target to backup to. So
very nice.
Very nice, very easy to use, and no need to set up like mounts, network mounts, and things like that. It's just out of the box working, so that's really cool. The other one I think should highlight is Google Drive. And the reason why I want to highlight this one is because there's also a Google Drive add-on that has been around for ages, right? A lot of people are asking about, I already got some tweets today, actually, or sorry, access considers. How do you call them nowadays? I don't know. Anyways, I got some responses on socials today like, hey, with the Google Drive integration now being part of the backup, do I need the Google Drive add-on? And the question to that is, or the answer to that is, maybe. It depends a little bit on your use case, I would say. The add-on has some features that our backup doesn't have. But if you generally just use it to make a backup and store it on your Google Drive, then what's built in now is probably sufficient, and you don't need an additional thing to handle it. And as a bonus, like, it's just built in, it works for everything, right? All of these features are available even if you run a container.
Yeah. I want to highlight another backup location, which is Home Assistant Cloud. Because if you like what we're doing and you want to support our work, right?
It's such a good bridge, this one. Go ahead.
No, so, Home Assistant, we are a part of the Open Home Foundation, a non-profit. We have a commercial partner, Nabucasa. They make Home Assistant Cloud. The way it works is that we ask our users, please subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud by Nabucasa. The revenue of this program goes into the Open Home Foundation, and it pays our salaries, right? This is how we're able to work on this. There's no investors, no loans, no debts. Nobody owns us. We do whatever we want, and which is do the best thing for users, their privacy, their choice, and sustainability. So if you want to help us, support us, right? Like, of course, you can buy more space for Google Drive. That's great. You can also sign up for Home Assistant Cloud. You get remote access. You get the best speech-to-text, text-to-speech for your voice assistant. You get the better cameras. In more edge cases, it will work great. You get a backup location with an offsite backup for up to 5 gigabytes. And you support the work, which I think is the most important. So we're just pushing out a lot of releases, a lot of updates all the time. And we would love your support.
Yeah, and if all fails, by the way, and you're sitting here watching this stream and you're like, what are you guys talking about? Just hit a thumbs up there down below. That's just a cool call out, right? We need to, if you like what we're doing and like what everybody's doing, by the way, because like Google Drive and OneDrive and Google Drive, OneDrive, and Synology DSM, those are contributions, right? People in the community build this stuff, which is amazing. So
that's cool.
If you like what they do, just hit a thumbs up, please. It will be appreciated.
I've seen in the chat a bunch of, hey, and about this location. But if you got the talent, you can build it. I've seen some work in progress on other stuff. So there might be new locations next release. Don't know yet, right? So depending on contributions there.
Yeah, no, we accept integrations all the time, right? So you have a cool backup location. Yes.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Also, someone is saying this guy backs up. So yeah, that's true. Thank you, someone.
That's Gord.
Yes, I know. I was calling someone. He knows what I mean.
I was going to say people don't know.
Don't know.
Don't
It's
know
an
who he is.
internal. No, it's an internal joke. Fine, someone. Fabio is thanking us, so you're welcome, Fabio.
Yeah.
Well, and this one was a question actually. What if the backup fails? Would the update still go through?
I don't know. Actually,
the
I
answer-
don't think so. I would.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so. And if it does, it's a bug.
It shouldn't fail, but it can
cool.
happen, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't update in that point.
Correct.
We talked about the add-ons already, and this one I found interesting is how do you restore a backup if your system is messed up?
You gotta do a fresh install, right? Do a fresh installation, and then during the onboarding, upload your backup.
Yep.
But that's also, if your system is messed up, you might not be able to access your backup, right? Which is why we suggest to keep one offsite.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, we got to stop talking about backups. And
sure.
we're going to hit 45 minutes soon. We've only talked about backups. Like, as much as we love having backups, we also are making sure you don't need them. We hope you never have to use them. That's what I should say. So set up your automatic backups, update Home Assistant, use the toggles, whatever you want, encryption, whatever you want. Let's look at some cool stuff.
3-2-5 backup strategy.
All right. Yeah, we need to stop talking about backups. That's for
Yes.
sure. There's a lot more. I see a lot of people requesting like backup locations. As Matthias said, we hope to see a bunch of them. If you have to tell it, or if you want to have backup locations, go into our community forums. There's a feature request section there. Maybe you can find more people that are thinking likewise. Like that would be a good idea. Hit some thumbs up there. Find the ones that have been requested, and maybe someone in the community could pick it up, and we can make it happen. Like, happy to see more locations.
Yes.
All right.
Good. What are we going to talk about? Should we do a little bit of voice? Should we do like
Hey, are we at the point yet that we should not like call it out anymore, or is it still okay?
the wake word?
Yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't say the wake word anymore.
So what do we say instead?
Well, of course, we could change the wake word to like there's 3 wake words that we currently offer on the Voice PE, right? One that we're not going to say, and then Jarvis and Mycroft. So we could use one of the others. But I think I could talk about voice without.
Okay,
shit.
Casa. That's a good.
Oh yeah, okay, Casa. That's a nice one.
I was gonna say we've got like the feature of the year coming out right now, where it's the best thing that's coming out, and Paul is going to show that off.
That's true. Are we ready for the best feature of 2025? Because
the CSV download?
No, that was 2024. This is 2024. 2026 is going to be CSV download brought to this feature. So it will but let me show up. So a long, long time ago, in the year 1800 something, analog phones were invented. And then, mobile phones came around 100 years later, and people kind of stopped using analog phones until 2 years ago, when we released the world's most private voice assistant. And we actually, I don't know if people know, but you can hook up an analog phone to Home Assistant. And then when you pick up the phone, you're actually talking to our voice assistant. Now, our voice assistant is very modular, so you can also have ChatGPT in that. So like my kids love just talking, and they're like talking to Mario, ChatGPT, all that stuff. But one big, big feature had been missing since the very beginning. Because the analog phones in Home Assistant, they were one way. You could call Home Assistant, but Home Assistant couldn't call back. Lame. So, Jamin, this is a contribution. I'm super stoked about it. Like I always wanted us to work on it, but it was never really a priority, because even though I think it's the best feature, not many people have analog phones yet, but maybe this feature will bring it all back. So what does it do? It is actually, Home Assistant is able to call your phone. And this is very great.
Sorry.
Because if you think about it, your laundry is done, right? You want to send somebody a notification that your laundry is done, but you don't. Are you going to like check everybody's presence and then send it to their phones? They might be in meetings, they might be in conversations. Those are not good moments to know about the laundry. Instead, what if we could make an audible sound in a room and let people then respond to this sound by picking up the phone and hearing a message. So that's what we have. So I have a demo. I have a phone here. I don't know. So I'm using an Erico phone because that's like the first single piece phone that was ever made. There used to be always two parts, a horn and like a bass. This one has a single piece. It's actually a very cool one. I'm going to show a demo. I lost my screen, so I'm going to find that one.
The fridge is running.
Well, the door open could be a good one, to be honest.
So I have already set up VoIP, right? So I've set up like OpenAI. I've set up voice over IP. I've set up Google Generative AI. I've set up a voice PE. And I have set up my phone. So go to my phone. I see it here, Erico phone. Great. Now, we have two features. The first feature is really basic, which is call a phone and say a message. So I'm going to show that right now, but it's going to be maybe a little bit, you don't hear what I'm going to hear. So I'm just going to show it, and maybe I'm not going to... This, by the way, this also works for the voice PE or any assist device that supports announce, but the new one is the phone. So you can just say a message or media ID, right? If you do the message, we will use the voice assistant attached to the phone text-to-speech engine to actually say it. Or you can send just your own, like if you want to just play an MP3 over the phone, can be, or whatever, a WAV file, anything you want. So if I just say hello, if I now click perform action, my phone is going to ring.
That sounds like a real phone, actually.
I was going to say, that sounds nothing like J-Lo's phone that made everybody jump.
So now that I hang up, you can see that the service gets finished, right? So you know exactly, did the person receive the message and when did they hang up the phone? So this is great. But we went one step further. And now I have to give a caveat. To get you to talk to the phone requires us to understand what the conversation is about. Now, to understand what the conversation is about, to build into our normal intent handling, that's actually with hard-coded sentences. So to basically allow you to specify the conversation that's going to have in a service call was a little bit too much work to do right away. So we started with an easier one, which we call start conversation. This one will only work with large language models. So if you have a large language model, you can now say the message to start with. And I saw some comments about what is media ID. Media ID is where you can set your own WAV file instead of using our text-to-speech. So if you want to have some sound effects or have GLaDOS or Mario, whatever, you can do that. Here you can say a message, for example, shoot the lights. You left the lights on. Should we turn it off? Now, what's interesting for the large language model is that it needs context, right? It needs to know what this conversation is about, because otherwise I'm going to say sure, and then it doesn't know what to do. So we call this the extra system prompt. Here's that you're giving instructions to the AI, hey, we're going to throw you into a conversation, and this is the backstory. So Paulus left the lights on in the office. We're asking if he wants to turn it off. Now, the odds of this all going to work right now, I don't know. So let's hope it works. If it doesn't, I blame the AI and not our code. Okay. The phone. Give it a second.
Do you always pick up phones during live stream?
Sure. Yes. Oh, now it's failing. Oh, no! Haha!
Wow.
There you go. Yes. So that's great. Now, of course, I can just use a voice PE. Turn on the lights. And the lights are back on. Good. So this is the feature of 2025. We are able to call phones. Now, if you ask me if I had a dedicated team to just work on phone-related features, we would go all the way, right? I want to be able to call your mobile phone. I want the Home Assistant to register as a VoIP. And like, because then it will work with your Bluetooth headphones. Imagine being in you
Oh,
walk
that's
in, you
cool.
get a call. You just pick up with your AirPods, your Pixel Buds, whatever. It's Home Assistant. I think that would be cool. But I don't have a dedicated team to work on silly projects. Well, I had, but they went going for voice now. So
I have a question though.
yeah.
Like, if you have our apps that are running on, like, I'm just like, they run on iOS, right? They can expose themselves as phones, right? WhatsApp,
Yes.
for example.
Yeah. I know. I mean, this is technically possible. I just don't have like we don't have like a team for silly projects of Paulus. Like we.
No, but this
That's
is
not
good
what we all
shout-out.
do.
Yes, but if you're an Android developer, if you're an iOS developer, and you want to work,
Like,
on
there's
board,
1,000 people watching.
Yeah.
Like, come on, is there somebody that can help out with this? That would
it
be awesome.
will be really cool. We'll get you on the live stream. We'll get you fully set up. It will be amazing. Yes.
Yeah. We're doing that with the LVGL guy, right? He's coming onto the ESP Home live stream to actually talk about all the work that he's done. We will happily bring you on.
If you don't want to, that's fine too. Like, just build.
Oh yeah,
That's a cool feature.
That's fun.
That's a really good idea.
Good. Yeah. So this is the feature of 2025, in my opinion. We'll see. Maybe all of you guys will have an analog phone in a couple of months. By the way, we have a whole tutorial on our website, right? So I'm actually going to quickly share the website. Gabriella did an amazing job. I'm going to share my screen. I have too many monitors today, but here's Home Assistant website. If your browser is a little bit bigger, it will look better. Voice assistants. Okay, I'm just going to make it bigger. It's called the world's most private voice. We have so many tutorials. Here it is, the world's most private voice assistant. We have like, this is what you need. You need an analog phone. You need the Grand Stream HT801. They go for like $30 or something. Sometimes you can get them cheaper on AliExpress, but I don't know. I live in the US. We just blocked that shit. So, but you can just get them locally as well for a little bit more. So we have a whole tutorial if you want to play with this. Any old analog phone works, right? I think, Frank, you have one that has like no internals anymore. Just like...
Yeah. From 1960.
It works.
I've got that old PTT one, PTT. It's called.
Oh,
With
yeah,
that
yeah.
nice ring. It's cool. I have to
So-
set it up.
Yes.
Yeah, I made mine work. Like the hook still had like the microphone and the speaker, so I added in some resistors and whatnot, and then hooked it up directly to the ATA, so that it's working with Home Assistant. It still works. I can pick it up. It works. The switch connects the wire. Basically, that's how I made it work. It is
Amazing.
super stupid and old school, but it still works. But it cannot ring, so that's a pity.
Okay, are we doing one more voice feature?
Do you have only one more?
No, I have. No, I have more. I have more, but like,
Oh,
I mean, we talked so much about backups, but I don't want to like fill up another 45 minutes about voice, because we're also doing Year of the Voice next week, where we go through a lot. So I will show you two more features. One I think is really cool. I'm gonna share my screen again because I don't know why I canceled it. As you can see, we get very happy of voice. I get very happy of voice.
It's
Okay.
a lot of cool stuff that we're doing. We're really kind of surpassing the big tech voice assistants, because we support languages that they don't support, like Greek. There's someone who actually hopped on and said Greek is super like amazing for them. So like we're getting really good with what we're doing here.
Okay, for this demo, this is just the assist dialog inside Home Assistant. You can do it by voice as well, but I'm not doing that because I'm gonna hold up my voice PE before I hit enter. This is just Home Assistant. This is not any LLM. This is just what anyone gets out of the box. Just so that overview. All right. Broadcast that it's time for dinner.
wait, how did you get on this dialogue so quickly? What did you do?
Oh, we did. This is last release, right? If you hit A, the letter A, boom, assist. I use this one all the time, by the way. I didn't realize I needed this one.
Oh my God, I use it all the time now. It's so great.
I have, so just people don't know. There's E for entities, D for devices, C for commands. Quickly reload your YAML. I never do that actually, but technically, right, that you can do this. Okay, broadcast that it's time for dinner. So I'm going to hold up my voice assistant here. I'll point it at my microphone, just so you guys know. I'm going to hit enter.
It's time for dinner.
Oh, the volume was very low. I'll do it again.
No, it came up.
Oh,
It
okay,
came
good.
through.
Oh, shit, the phone
And
is
your
ringing.
phone is
too.
ringing. It's telling you it's time for dinner.
Yeah. Okay, so that is a bug. We kind of should not have done that. But if you're sending a broadcast, all your analog phones are gonna ring as well with that message. We found out that's a little bit annoying. So we're gonna opt VoIP out by default, but then gonna allow you to opt back in later in a way that we're still thinking about. But broadcast, this is really cool. We have multiple voice PEs because we see a lot of people getting more assists built out. So you can now just share messages. So my kids love it. They just go into each other's rooms and just like have the voice assistants shout at each other. Excellent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm prepared for that yet. Okay.
Don't tell
I was
them.
going to say, Mike did a very quick video of that, and it was quite funny.
Okay. One last voice feature.
We can sum them. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, okay. This is not a voice feature. This is an AI feature. And actually, what I'm sharing now, this is. Oh, I'm not sharing, so you don't see
You're
it.
going to share now.
Yeah. All right. So this is the Claude app. This is a desktop application, Claude by Anthropic. It's one of those open. Oh, it's not open. It's one of those AI companies, right? Like everybody always talks about ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. Those are other models. They're also good, by the way. Gemini Flash came out, 2.0 came out today. That one from Google. It is good, fast, cheap, excellent. But this is not Google, this is Anthropic. Because Anthropic started to create a new standard called Model Context Protocol. Basically, they call themselves the USB-C for AI. And what does it mean? You have a standard to hook up AI agents with platforms that can support tool calls for AI, so it can be controlled by AI. Now, Home Assistant, thanks to Alan, who has been working on this, can now both be an MCP client and a server. And this is an example of Claude, their desktop application, can now talk to a Home Assistant. So what does it mean? I've already configured it. It's very extensive documentation and an amazing job. You can still see here, I have one installed MCP server, Home Assistant. And this is not Home Assistant. This is not Assist. This is another external AI app, but that one can now talk to Home Assistant. So here you can see the tools that are available. So for example, Calendar Get Events. That's a new tool in this release. Fix Tag Reader. This is just a custom script. I have this NFC tag reader. There's a bug. I need to restart it from time to time. I made the phone do it so my kids can fix the tag reader. And now Claude can do it as well. Get items, locations in the home. This is a fun one. I'm going to show that. And here's the broadcast that I just showed. And this is all the other commands you can do by voice when you actually talk to Home Assistant. Claude can do them all. So, for example, when you're talking to Claude, I can now say, what time should I pick up the kids? And the reason this will work is because I have a calendar with the times that the kids need to be picked up so I can get reminded so I don't forget it. What happens now when actually Claude gets open, it's like, oh, there's a tool call that I can do. Now, they're very cautious because they don't want to just get data injected into your AI. So like, hey, can I call this tool from Home Assistant? I'm like, okay, let's do it. It gets the events from my kids' pickup calendar. And I should pick up the kids at 4:30. Excellent. Now, because you can call these tools, you can also start getting, I have this one tool that basically is a list of all this information about stuff in my house. I actually picked this up from Reddit. I saw someone do it. So I can now ask, where are my towels? And the person that was doing this on Reddit was doing this for his guests. He had like a voice PE set up so that guests could just ask this. So again, can I ask this? Can I call this skill or this tool? Yes. It gets the response from Home Assistant. The towels are in the bathroom upstairs. Now, obviously I know this, and a guest coming to my house wouldn't have these AI tools. But this platform is not just limited to Claude, right? If you believe in AI is the future of everything and agents are going to be everywhere, model context protocol is going to be the glue between the agents and the systems that they control. And Home Assistant is there for it, right? If you want a smart home to be part of an agent, this is it. You can do all these things that Assist can do now from Claude. And if people start making more APIs for Assist or for that are in Home Assistant for LLMs, you can also expose those to Claude or any other model context protocol client. So it's very nerdy. This is not very beneficial today, but expect like the next generation of AI tools to be able to speak this protocol and be able to control Home Assistant. And because we're an open platform, right? We want you to be able to choose where your data goes. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about. Like, oh, you want to have an AI hook into your Home Assistant data? Do it. We don't care. It's your life. Like, if this helps, do it. So, yeah, that's the model context protocol.
I like that it's MCP, like giving back the reference to Tron, like the master control program. It's free. I like that. Yeah, it's really cool.
There's gonna be a fun one.
Besides all of this, there are a few things more in the release notes. I'm not sure if you want to highlight them, Paulus.
You can change the temperature and thermostats. That was a big one.
Yes, that's cool. Calendars, which you showed just now.
Calendar just showed, yeah.
Conversation sharing.
That is something I do want to talk about. Indeed, that's where I'm heading for, because I think that is a very, very good feature we should definitely discuss. Because a few releases back, we actually introduced something called LLM fallback or agent fallback. Not even sure how it was exactly named, but we introduced a feature where Home Assistant could try to resolve it itself locally. And if it failed to do that, then it would talk to an LLM, saving you on cost and give you the optimum speed, right? If something works locally, it's super fast. But the downside at that point in time was, and we discussed it on live stream too, I asked about that, was if the local agent resolved it, the LLM wouldn't know and loses contact. And I think that has been worked on.
Yeah.
Is that something you can demonstrate?
Yes, I can demo it, I think. Because we have computers. One second, I just I have all these monitors set. I don't know why. It's not. Okay, back to AI. So I'm going to show Assist. This is not ideal. I'm going to see.
Hey, Ray, it's a great feature. Don't worry. It's a great feature. It is. Changing the thermostat.
And we'll talk more about it next week, too, for the voice live stream.
Tune into the chapter stream, chapter 9 next week.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah. One second. I'm trying to share my screen. No, I didn't edit. Okay. Oh, wait. Now I want people to be able to see the lights. I'm just going to... Oh, my God. Sorry. There's so many to drag and drop. This is better. Let's see. Yeah, now you can see the lights. Great. Okay, so if I go to Gemini, my current favorite, I go to Gemini and I say, prefer handling commands locally. Now, I'm only going to be able to show you how it looks today because this is the new version, right? So if I say, turn off the ceiling lights, it is actually not going to go to an AI. It knows how to do this locally. So boom, it's going to be instant. I'm going to hit enter. That's all.
Light.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's instant. It's a fail.
No. What's going on? Ah!
No access? Did it expose it?
Maybe. No, but awkward.
Live demos.
But lights are there.
Banner.
Okay.
Our live demos are always great.
I'm going to go for ChatGPT. That's now my favorite. I don't know.
Wow.
Okay. Turn off the... Oh, because they're not called ceiling light. This is... God. Okay, I know why this is breaking. It's called office ceiling light. I renamed them only for my card. Okay, we'll go back to Gemini. It's fine. Okay, so turn off the office ceiling light. Now, when I hit enter, it's going to be instant. Boom. Reason it's instant, this was handled locally. It didn't actually talk to Gemini. What happened previously, if I would say turn them back on, this wouldn't work. The reason it wouldn't work is because Gemini didn't have that previous back and forth of like turning it off. So it didn't realize what them stood for. But now we actually have a shared conversation history between all AI agents if they share the same conversation ID. So I can say turn them back on, and boom, it has been turned back on. And this is very nice because we have this ongoing conversation in Assist. And if you're having like your voice PE and you're talking to it, something will be handled locally. And all of a sudden your AI is just confused. Like what's going on? What's the current state? What was the history? And that's fixed now. So we fixed this today for ChatGPT, for Gemini. And this is coming for Ollama as well in a future release. Ollama, of course, is the one how we run currently all our local AI.
I saw some people talking about DeepStack already. In the chat.
DeepSeek.
Oh, yeah. DeepSeek, sorry.
DeepSeek. Yeah. I mean, the DeepSeek has an API that is OpenAI compatible, but it's not fully, and that's why it doesn't work out of the box with Home Assistant. There's a custom component you can use to get DeepSeek going. It's just good, right? It's not like it was just very cheap. That's why everybody's talking about it. It's not better than the current state of the art, or slightly better. It just was like 100 times cheaper to make. And if the amounts is like you're spending 100 million on something, or like 600 million, and you can make it for 6 million, yeah, that's a big deal.
It was interesting to watch the videos from Network Chalk recently. Like there were some leaks already with their hosted services. Some data got breached already, so that's not like really reassuring, to be honest. But running it locally, if you can, would be an option. So
yeah, I have one of those AI boxes from NVIDIA. They send it to me to run AI locally. It just eats a lot of power, right? Like there's a lot of electricity that you're using to have a dedicated box. It's like owning a car. Like your car is most of the time idle, standing still, right? And yet you're paying for the maintenance and ownership. And like it's the same with an AI box. It's like, so actually what I did now, I shared my AI box over Tailscale with Alan. So Alan is running benchmarks on it, so it at least is more utilized.
On your cost, like your power, right? That's good.
Yeah, well, sure. But then at least it's like used, right? Like I'd rather have a box that I pay for that's used than that it's, using less energy, but it's not being used.
And does it also heat up your office, or is it not?
No, this one is actually pretty efficient.
One heats up. Yeah. I thought it was a computer, but it's not, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a computer, but it's only used for my AI. That uses a lot of power, honestly.
Yeah. Are there plans to stream Ollama responses? Yes, I have a prototype of streaming OpenAI responses, which basically means the whole stack has been built out. So this, depending on how much time I have or how much I can convince other people to pick it up and finish it, this should be able to come at least to the front end. I would not expect this yet for the watches or the native assist dialogues on the phones, but I would expect the website assist dialogue to have it in the next release. Yes.
All right. I think we're through then to voice.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the next thing that I have on my list, because we're now through all the big features, by the way. We have talked about backups. We talked a lot about backups and a lot about voice. So there's a lot to cover. Check out the release notes on our website. There's more examples in there and screenshots and more context. So, different context than we give here. So that's, definitely a good read.
If you want to talk more about voice, the ideas behind, the thoughts behind, where we're going, what we're all exactly doing, plus a brand new feature that we haven't shown yet on the stream, tune in next week.
There's more next week.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to open up the release notes because besides all of this, we have a whole bunch of new integrations this release to talk about, which I absolutely love. There are 9 new ones. So here we go. First of all, Google Drive, we talked about that one, and OneDrive, which is part of the backup stuff where we talked about you can now back up to those, and model context protocol server, we talked about that too, and the client as well.
Yeah.
So those we can skip. Home is in here and iGlow Home. This, by the way, I find interesting, the iGlow Home, mostly because their website is like, smart access technology that works every time, even in space. I found that even in space interesting for locks, but I guess it's catchy. So
just so you know, Home Assistant, given that it's fully offline, we work in space, right? So
Yes, we do. I didn't like their website though. I went through that website a little bit and it is just too movie. They have way too many graphics moving around and I'm just like, this is bad. But
It
I mean, the
makes you
product
fishy.
looks okay. Yeah, it does.
hey, you got to spend that VC money on something, you know.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful graphics for a website instead of a great product.
So we added also support for, it was contributed, by the way, by Jay Pelgrim. Hey, some lights turned off here. What happened? Okay, never mind. It's because it's live. That's how it works. We have a LED pod.
That's cool.
That's cool, right? If you're in hydroponics, I think this is really cool, actually. So I might consider it, actually. It's cool to have in the kitchen some fresh vegetables every time.
Oh, I thought for the backdrop, but yeah, okay.
For the backdrop. Oh. If I turn on my background, you will have a green screen that works too.
Oh,
right?
yeah, true. Yeah,
it's green.
Yeah.
Then it will be green. All right. OneDrive, we talked about. Overseers added by Yoast. If you run one of the R thingies, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then probably it's fine. But if you run the R thingies, you can use Overseer to get media requests. Like people can request.
How many are there? I keep because every couple of months there's like a new R being integrated, and
R. I don't know how many there are. Okay. Well, it's the contact controller protocol we talked about. QBus is here, which is also a control bus system. So these are there, this release.
It's great. Like it's, at some point I was like, we're just going to at some point run out of steam. There's not enough things to integrate anymore. And like, nope, every month.
Community keeps going.
Yeah.
There are enough pending as well. So there's more in the pipelines.
Yes.
We have one new feature integration. It's not O-Power, so yay! Yeah.
Well, I mean, I saw Motion Blind also has a lot of brands. It seems, right?
Yeah. Yep. Motion Blind is sold like many ways. Motion Blind is actually spelled wrong. I think the B is capitalized. Actually.
Jerry in the DMs.
Sorry, Jerry.
Just open a PR, Jerry.
Will be good. Thank you, Starkiller, for doing that and for adding that feature integration. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Some noteworthy improvements to other integrations. First of all, this is not really an integration improvement, but a big shout out to Nori2909. This guy has been he's not a coder. He is not a programmer. He doesn't understand code. If he touches code accidentally, he will close his contribution. But this guy, he has been going through our code base. Literally every single piece of text in our UI, wherever shown, like in a entity name or in a service call, like an action call in your automation editor, he is going through them all and like perfecting the textual things there, the grammatics, like the dots on the right places and whatnot. It's amazing. He keeps making PRs. He made hundreds at this point already across everywhere we have. So thank you so much for doing that. That's really, 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 really.
This is the kind of stuff where open source really excels, right? Like there's just, people will come by and be like, I want to fix this. And they just keep going. They go through all these things to fix all the spelling mistakes, etc. And thank you so much.
And this is actually true. Shay's commenting here. Everyone is welcome to join in. Like, documentation and translations is something that everybody can like chime into, right, and help out with, and is pretty much really appreciated. Not everybody is native, and it just helps like a lot. So
we have a feedback button on the bottom of every documentation page. If you don't know how to actually edit a PR and submit changes, you can submit feedback for what you want to change, and someone will pick it up and make those changes.
Yep.
All right. Also, another shout out here is to Elbu.
I don't know.
Nevertheless, he is just going nuts on Matter, which is absolutely stunning. He keeps adding device support, like besides like supporting Matter 1.4, there are also like the different device types it brings, and he keeps adding support for those using emulators and like prototypes and whatnot, and dev boards and whatever he has. So that's really nice. And because of him, we're very close to reaching full Matter 1.4 device support, which is like, dude, you're a hero. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's
all right.
Chamely74 Simone, he added support for the new Shelly Bluetooth radio. What is it not radio? Radiator knobs. That's cool. That looks cool.
These ones.
Yeah, that's a nice little feature by Shelly.
Yeah, looks really good. It's Bluetooth, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
Now
not
show
just
the next
Bluetooth,
one,
it
Frank.
is BT Home, right? So, pretty sure this gets picked up by Home Assistant, or not sure which part, because I don't know if we have thermostats in there, but like this.
No, it's
the sensor.
It will pick up as a thermostat as climate.
Oh, nice.
Yep. The next one, I find really interesting. I will in a sec. So this is from Home Wizard, which is a Works with Home Assistant partner. This device, the Home Assistant plug-in battery, is not yet in the Works with Home Assistant program. We're going to work with that to get it into there. But it's a plug-in battery, which is really cool. I received one actually, and I'm playing with it just to share.
How many kilos?
Well,
26.
Look, it's pretty freaking heavy, to be honest. It is really heavy. It's 26 kilograms, and it's huge. And yeah, and it works. It looks really beautiful. It's nice. And it's quite a nice thing. You can just plug it into your power, and it works. This is aimed at the Dutch market, by the way. If you guys look at this, this is for the Dutch market only right now. Nevertheless.
Wait, what, 5 steps back, because we all know what it is. Like, this is not just a normal battery to, like, for your home. What's special about it is that there's zero insulation.
Yes.
Right? You just plug it into the power socket. And there's also a part of it that's sold separately, used separately, that knows how much energy is going into the grid or that you take from the grid. And so if you have solar, you're sending stuff off. You're generating too much solar than you're using, the battery can store it, or if the price is cheap, the battery can store it. And then it can do peak shaving, where it puts electricity back in your house through the socket, this is how electricity works. Like, you don't realize this, but every power socket is a two-way street.
So they have this nice little display through it. And the cool thing is, actually, I have this battery, and tonight I'm actually streaming off. Oh, this is like, there's some green in it, so the green screen.
Beautiful.
But I'm almost using no grid power at all. I'm using 21 watts right now on my whole home.
Wow.
Which means the rest of my home currently, including the stream, and I'm live with this cameras and such, is actually powered through the battery right now. I'm actually like streaming on battery power. Which is cool. And well, just to show you the thing, I have it here. I will try to like bring it on.
Yeah.
It's really heavy, but here it
Oh
is.
my God.
Look at that thing. It's here.
Wow.
It's working really well. It's a huge thing, and it's nice. It's really
But okay, but here's the important things I want to know, Frank.
yes.
API, local?
Oh, sorry. Yes. My shoulder's going to hurt. Yes, it's fully local.
There you go.
It's
That's
fully
what I wanna
local in
hear.
a home, and that's beautiful. If you install it, and the install process is easy because you unbox it, plug it into the wall, you set it up on the Home Wizard app, and then it's on your network, right? It needs to like get onto your Wi-Fi. And if you then go into Home Assistant, it is actually instantly there. Let me quickly show that, because it's really nice how it shows up there. Hold on.
I think it's cool. Like this. So just so you're clear, this device is not worked with Home Assistant yet. We're just super excited by the concept of this thing. Like, this is just, it's fascinating because normally when you think of like, oh, I want to buy a battery to like do better energy management in my house after you have solar, and you have to think about like an installer, and this is like a 10,000 euro investment, and like how long does it last and how long does it go with. And this is still pricey, by the way. I don't know, I don't remember the price, but it's over 1,000, right?
1,395 euros, and it has 2.7 kilowatt hours, which is not a big battery, right? It's not a huge one, but this one will probably take me to most of the night, and you can stack them up, so you can buy multiple and stack them. The price is fair to the market, I would say. Yeah. Let me get my screen back here. Here we go. Here's it in Home Assistant. It's a platinum integration, and you can actually see it's like exporting right now. It's delivering almost 600 watts, and the state of the battery is 59%.
Nice. Oh, and that brings us to a night. Can you just open the graph of this one?
Oh, yeah. Someone's been commenting. I've seen a couple people comment about it as we've been talking about things, but yes.
So what is really cool about this graph, besides the battery? So I'm going to switch to the next topic, right, Frank? That's
Yes.
Okay. Just Petar has been working his ass off this release to swap out the library that we use to render charts. So we were using Charts.js. It is now powered by eCharts, by the Apache Foundation, and eCharts is going to allow us to add a lot more different graphs more easily in the future releases. The current efforts has solely been to make it look similarly to the old chart. Not an exact copy. Don't like shout at us because like something is slightly off. Bugs we want to hear, of course. But this has been a huge effort because doing things that work on mobile and desktop with mouse and fingers and everything, it was a big effort. But it's here. If something doesn't, if you are like looking at this and like, this looks the same, thank you. That was the goal. But we're gonna, eCharts is gonna be cool. Like it has Sankey, it has, which is like the different bars, like where your energy is going. There's a lot of cool stuff that we can now easily plug into Home Assistant.
And we added it to, this is for all over Home Assistant, right? Like the energy dashboard has this, like any chart you look at.
Every chart. Yes.
There's so much coming for this, by the way. Like we're doing this for the future, right? So there are very, very many cool ideas.
Yeah.
I do want to warn, things will look different. Although you don't notice, it looks oddly familiar, right? Everything looks familiar, but if you put them side by side, you will definitely notice a bunch of differences. And if you're like keen and viewed a few things, a lot of times you might notice them. So be aware of that. It's not meant to be the exact same experience. No. It's meant to be like a replacement that gives you a similar experience.
We're already getting some better things, like this line when you're hovering the graph where it shows you exactly where you're hovering, so you can see like that kind of stuff. Like this is nice little details that just work very well on this chart. And of course, it's open source, which we love.
Yeah.
Everything. Absolutely.
So this also means if you go to the eCharts website, go to the examples page, you see a chart, you're like, oh, that would be cool for Home Assistant. Let us know. Maybe we can just hook it in, right? Like we have data, we have a place to render charts.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
Looking forward to more of this stuff. All right. Yeah, we talked about batteries and graphs already, so that's good. Let's go back to the release notes then. Because we have a few more things here. What else is here? TP-Link smart home stuff. No support
vacuums. Does TP-Link a vacuum nowadays?
Yeah, apparently. I've looked it up. They do.
You guys don't hear me. I was going to say, you guys don't hear me talk as much, and like is something that comes out of me too. But yeah, like.
Yeah. Reolink is in here again. Because, well, Starkiller keeps cranking out a thing, and it has like a sensor for a baby crying.
Nice. Does that work with my doorbell? I don't know. If there's like a crying baby, don't sound the doorbell when they ring it. Like
don't open. There's a baby crying. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. And Bang & Olufsen is here back again. And this one I really like because they have now like entities to react
They
to physical
really
button
expose
presses.
everything, huh?
Right. So
Yeah.
you can actually, if you push some buttons anywhere on a Bang & Olufsen device, the thing comes in. It's not just one button, it's like the whole thing. Yeah, you can react on that and automate with it, which is really cool.
They
and this is contributed by the company, right? Like,
yeah,
you know,
they
are the
build it
contributors for this.
themselves.
Yep.
They have this really cool remote that I would love to have, but I don't have $1,000. But like, you know, you can respond to these kind of controls. Like that is really cool. It's called if people want to look it up, it's called the Halo remote or something. Yeah, but that would work with this kind of like new integration.
Yep. All right, to the UI is an MBS, which is a Belgian transport thing. So you can like see like when your trains are arriving and things like that. Or delayed, right? And this one I think is really cool. It's filter, and filter is actually a helper. We have a filter helper, which is pretty extensive in what you can do. And yeah, that thing was YAML only. So now it's in the UI.
So what we should explain, like the word filter can mean anything, right? But this is a data filter. So you can filter out anomalies, you can do whatever. So here you can see, for example, you see the real measurement, and then because you take like more like an average over time, you can get a more
evened out. There are many filters, by the way.
Yeah.
Low pass, outlier, range, throttle, time throttle, moving average.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And a lot of these is because sometimes you really have sensors that go all over the place, but they, on average, they are correct. And this filter will allow you to get that going.
I saw someone over the holidays actually use that specifically so they could track the wind. And if it hit a certain threshold for 15 minutes, they'd actually shut down their inflatable decorations so they didn't get blown away. Yeah, that was cool.
That is cool. That is cool.
All right. Other noteworthy changes. Well, the time, like here, the generic thermostat. If you use that thing and you set up presets, which are basically just a list of temperatures, like, I don't know, when I'm away is 15 degrees Celsius, it now will automatically select a preset if you just set the temperature. So if I would set the temperature manually to 15 degrees, it will automatically be in that preset, which is a nice little tweak if you use that thing. Time triggers can now be offset if you use daytime input helpers, which has been requested quite a bit. It's part of the month of what the hack. It came up again and was built by Petro. So thank you so much.
Shout out to Petro. He's been finding a lot of these small bugs in the automation engine lately and just like squashing them.
Really he's working on some template stuff too. So he's been really knocking it out.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we need to talk about
this one is super exciting too, I think. The Bluetooth.
You want to show it?
Should I? Yeah.
I can.
You have Bluetooth proxies and...
No, but I do have something to show though. Not on this system, but I can definitely show it.
I know as the person who's not very familiar with how Bluetooth works in Home Assistant, all of these changes are very pleasing to me. Like, I really like it.
That's actually a good point. I'm going to start from the beginning. And then I'm actually gonna see, I did this demo during the creator call and then it worked. I don't think it's gonna work again, but can you guys share my screen? Can somebody click that button? There you go. All right, so actually I should start. If you go to the Bluetooth page, now if you hit configure, and I use, for example, we're gonna take 5 steps back. Bluetooth is a protocol for communication. Now, the most popular thing we do with Bluetooth is audio, right? Like you set up Bluetooth speakers or your earphones, all that stuff. Home Assistant does not support that part of Bluetooth. Instead, there's also called Bluetooth Low Energy, which is a variant of Bluetooth, still part of the official Bluetooth spec, but for sending controls and data and temperature sensors and humidity data over the air. And so there's a lot of devices out there that work with Bluetooth. You can get them on AliExpress for very cheap. And they just broadcast this data through the air. So also on Amazon, you can find stuff. Xiaomi, Govi, there's a bunch of them. You can find them in our docs. Now, to get Home Assistant to listen for these data and put them into Home Assistant, you can have Bluetooth adapters. But as you might know from your Bluetooth earphones, the range of Bluetooth, it's not that good. Definitely not going to cover your house. So while you can put a Bluetooth adapter in Home Assistant, we realized that, well, you put your Home Assistant far, far away, right? This is not something that is meant to be visible. It's in your closet with your cable modem, your router, all that stuff. So we created a concept of what's called a Bluetooth proxy. This is a tiny ESP device that if you go to esphome.io, you can actually make your own. Like if you get an ESP32, you can just flash it with the Bluetooth proxy firmware. It gets added to Home Assistant. I have here 5 devices that are Bluetooth based. So the top one is actually a Bluetooth adapter. By the way, if you ever want to buy a Bluetooth adapter, don't just buy one. Go to our documentation. We have tested every Bluetooth adapter and we have a list of the ones we like and the ones you want to avoid at all costs. Now, what happens with these Bluetooth proxies that they go somewhere in your house over Wi-Fi, they establish a connection with Home Assistant. Now Home Assistant can use the Bluetooth in this ESP device to listen for Bluetooth packets and talk to Bluetooth devices. So, for example, this is a Bluetooth proxy that I have. This one is actually power over Ethernet, which is really nice because it's just somewhere in my house, just streaming all the Bluetooth stuff. Previously, we couldn't really know which Bluetooth stuff you were seeing. So now we have an advertisement monitor. This advertisement monitor allows you to see which devices can each proxy see and what is the connection quality. And so if you scroll down, and like some of these things are like there's a Shelly Plus, this is a temperature humidity sensor. Some things have no names, it's fine, right? Like there's another temperature humidity sensor. This one is actually also paired into Home Assistant mechanic room. Here you can see front door lock. My front door lock is connected to Bluetooth proxy 839 something. Good. So what I now want to do is that you can get all this data. This is mainly for debugging, but I'm also going to show you that sometimes if you are having Bluetooth performance issue, then you can see why. So for example, besides just receiving data, Bluetooth proxies can also make outbound connections, but they're limited to 3 connections at a time. So, okay, Bluetooth proxy 839. Let me find that one. So 839, can you see it? This one.
No.
This one has was connected to my front door lock. I'm now going to I'm gonna try opening my front door lock. I'm gonna unlock my front door. Please don't mug me. I have 2 because let me see. Okay, I'm gonna unlock it, and now if everything goes right, you should see the connection slot allocation go to 33% because the Bluetooth proxy can only have 3 slots. Here we go. I've unlocked it. No. Okay, well, maybe it was another one that it used. Okay.
It worked. I'm like, it worked last week. What
it
the
worked
hell?
Yeah, I feel like we were using a different proxy, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. You use the same one though. You use your door lock as the example. Weird.
Right.
Anyway. I want to ADHD interrupt really quick here. There was a shiny new thing on that. Yeah, look at the shiny logo for the internal integration. I hadn't noticed that before. Cool. It's all shiny. Sorry, I was staring at that and I'm like, I need to interrupt him for this.
That's the Wendland.
Wendland did this, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Wendland built
so
that.
Nice.
Okay. I'm gonna lock my front door. Maybe it's this one. No. Okay. Too bad.
Wrong. That's the wrong proxy. It must be.
Yeah, maybe it must be the wrong proxy. I'm just like keep opening and unlocking my door. Okay. Anyway, it did work before.
Door never locks
anyway,
again.
I'm just gonna lock it again. Whatever.
This is our demo time. This is how it works.
Anyway, you can see all your Bluetooth data, and that's really, really cool. And if you are using Bluetooth, and you ever run into issues, now you don't have to go through all the logs anymore, and we're making this a lot easier. The connection slot allocations monitor, there were people that had 4 Bluetooth logs and 1 Bluetooth proxy, and then they were like, I cannot lock all my doors at the same time, and we're like, now you know. So yeah, this has been a big work by Bidraco and by Solomon. I'm thinking
Solomon,
Solomon, yes.
Tim.
And they did a great job. And all this stuff is real time, right? So as advertisements get added and changed, the RSI changes, that stuff is all real time updated. And you probably don't realize this, but there are hundreds of Bluetooth devices constantly emitting everything, right? Because if you're in the Apple ecosystem, every Apple device is constantly spamming Bluetooth, right? Because that's how they pick up. That's how you do the handoff, all those features. But every smartwatch, every earphone, that's all Bluetooth. So we're doing a lot of Bluetooth. And now with Home Assistant, you can see what we see, what Home Assistant can see.
Including your neighbor's toothbrush.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We have, if your
face.
neighbors have Oral-B toothbrushes, some
They will
people
show
might
up.
call it a security issue. We call it a feature, but we can see exactly which sector of your mouth is being cleaned and automated.
So you can
We're gonna
actually
figure it
use
out.
this.
For our
Yeah.
neighbors, we can watch our neighbors now, see how long they're brushing their teeth.
Exactly.
It's totally fine.
Set up an alert, right? He might have a bad breath today, right? So you know up front to keep a little bit of distance. Like there's a practical use to it.
Did he brush his teeth today?
There's something useful there. No, I really like especially the advertisement monitor to be able to see which device is connected to which one. Sometimes that, like in the past, you couldn't figure that one out. Well, you could, but it took a lot of walking.
And for me, it's the allocations monitor that I really like because you can see very quickly at a glance if the allocations are all taken for that specific device. So
Somebody just asked where the page is, so I'm just showing it. Like just go to connections, devices, Bluetooth, configure on a config entry.
The blog actually shows you exactly how to go through it as well. So if you want to refer back to how you get there, the blog has an actually exactly step by step how you get there.
And we might even add a my link to it.
Yeah, that's a good one. We didn't at this point.
No, it selects the add-on store.
Yeah,
that's not a
curtains work.
toothbrush.
Yeah, and curtains work.
Sure.
Curtains work too. Yeah,
Yeah.
switch mode curtains will show up. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Bluetooth. It's cool. We are. This is one of our ongoing efforts to just make all these protocols that work locally in your house work better, right? Bluetooth was a black box. Now it's at least insightful. Next step, make it actionable, make it useful. Because now we can tell you, like, hey, look at this piece of data. This is not correct. Like, we've been not able to see your neighbor's toothbrush for the last week. Like, something happened. Maybe charge it, you know.
Buy him a charger for his birthday. So much. The data is so useful.
Yeah.
All right. We're actually reaching the end at this point, to be honest, which is nice. We're early today. There's one piece left in this release, which is the not so fun stuff, the backwards incompatible changes. Luckily,
they fit on the screen.
They fit on the screen. Yeah, well, I zoomed out a little, so it's a little bit. But nevertheless, it's just a few that are shown. It's not that big of a deal. Check them out to be sure it's not here yet. In here, there's one that's not listed because you should have received a repair already, which is, as of this release, we're fully on Python 13. Sorry, we're fully on Python 3.13. If you're one of the very, very few people that still run Home Assistant the old-fashioned in your own Python setup way, please you might be stop doing that. It's 2025. It's no longer like this is not. But if you still do, like one of the 1%, I believe at this point of people, then like you need to update your Python for this release. But yeah, that's for most people not relevant. This is the list. Check it out. If there's something in there, there's nothing majorly break-in, and so it should be okay.
I see K and X here, and that made me realize they added binary sensor to the UI. You can create binary sensors for KNX in this UI. So if you don't know, KNX has also a UI like Bluetooth, but it's way more advanced. And they have been chugging along on it as well. And so,
Yep.
just that one is nice.
Yeah. So that would be, I should now zoom back in, right? Just for there we go. Now it fits better. What's new? Now you know.
Sweet. This was a good release.
Right?
It really was.
Something all
Yeah.
over the place.
Agreed.
It's a nice one.
What I find really, really cool is that like the Bluetooth thing on itself is release worthy, right? And it's all the way down in the release end. It's so sick what we are doing and the community is doing. I'm always surprised.
Yeah.
There was one thing I noticed, and I don't know when that actually got in, but I only noticed it this beta, was some of the dialogues. If you try to, specifically the backup dialogues, I think, if you try to click out of the dialogue that's popped up, it'll do this little shake and won't let you actually do it. So the little animation that's there, that was pleasing. I really like that.
That's a good thing.
Wendell
Because
and I
previously it's
are
like,
working
oh, it
this
doesn't
soon.
work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Micro interactions, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, micro interactions, those are nice, by the way.
Hey Frank, you
Yes.
Since the last live stream, I think something changed in your life.
I was going to say, there's this star.
I didn't-
next
I-
to your
there's a star.
name.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
star there.
You know, I mean, of course, you've upgraded the CMS of your website.
Which is horrible to do, by the way. But I really wanted to get out of the WordPress ecosystem. If somebody like followed that story, you probably understand that.
Yeah, but no. So that I meant the other thing. No, Frank has joined the small club of GitHub stars, and so this is very special. GitHub stars. I think there's 90 or something in the world. These are people that are basically the leaders of the open source space. The people that not only GitHub, but the community sees as the ones that are pushing open source further, sharing open source to everyone. And GitHub acknowledges these people. They
Send
give
them monas.
yeah, send them monas. No, but I think it's really cool. I think not only is this a great
Thank you.
recognition of Frank's work, this is just awesome. This is so yeah.
It's really cool. It's nice to have that recognition, but it also like enables us to do things, right? And enables me to do things. They will help out with a lot of things, but there are more things attached to this. So, for example, I get inside calls with GitHub, so we can talk about like our wants and needs, but also they show their use cases and the things they will like build out in the future. So we can already give feedback, and I can give feedback in an early stage of the development with the product teams and such. So that's really cool to be part of. And yeah, besides that, it's just a little star on the work from the last years, right? The last 7 years, and that's really nice.
Yep, that's nice.
Congrats. It was great.
Thank you. It is. It's really nice. It's cool. All right.
With
Okay,
more.
thank
Well,
you
we're gonna
very
have
much.
more and more, as in like. But I do wanna. I am gonna share my screen real quick because for the people that don't know, we went to CES last.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
And of course, CES is awesome. If you haven't read our update, we have a newsletter. So, Missy, can you show the banner or something? Oh, cool. Yeah. So this is the website of our newsletter. You can subscribe. It's free once a month. I send an update. What's going on in the open home, right? So this is not just Home Assistant. This is ESP Home. This is like WLED, Zigbee to MQTT, whatever cool stuff is happening. This is the place where we tell you about it. Every feature comes with beautiful artwork by Clelia. This is not AI generated. This is all like hand drawn.
Yes.
And
Clelia, that's one of my favorite things about it is Clelia does some beautiful abstract artwork for us. And it's amazing.
Yes. And one of the things there was the whole update is worthy to read, but I wanted to. We saw a lot of Home Assistant logos in CS. We were at 5 people
beautiful.
there. This is my favorite smart home gadget because it has Matter. But I wanted to show this photo because this is really. I'm gonna see. Can I zoom in? Enhance. There you go.
There we go.
We threw a meetup. We threw a meetup with YouTubers, distributors, manufacturers, and I just want to, like, in case you're not like, here's DigiBlur, here's Dr. Z's, here's Rob from the Hookup. Thank you, Rob. He paid for all the food. Then here is Rohan
And Phil, right?
Phil. I
Phil,
don't know where
yeah.
Phil is. Where's
Right
Phil?
next to Rohan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he just got a haircut, I think. He from the Home Assistant podcast, of course. Here's Kenny. Kenny is from Cloudfree. He's one of the distributors that sells Home Assistant Green in the United States. And here is Apollo. And here is it? No, this is not Apollo. This is Apollo. And where is just?
I'm pretty sure.
On the right,
I'm pretty sure Justin's in
shirt.
chat and he's gonna yell at us.
Okay, yeah. Well, but yeah, Apollo Automation was there too. Really cool. Consumer Reports was there. Motion Blind is Jerry, the guy that's going to make a PR to fix his name. Yeah, it was really cool. So I just wanted to show that, like, it's awesome for us to meet our community, to meet like so many different people that have meaningful contributions to our ecosystem at one place is actually really cool. Which is a small little bridge to you, Missy.
Yes. So there was actually another meetup that happened over the weekend in Brussels. So Joost went to FOSDEM and actually met up with a whole bunch of people on Saturday. So we actually have pictures and updates we'll be doing from that one probably next week because I have not had time to do it this week. But we have
just FOSDEM. What is FOSDEM? That is the open source, free and open source conference in Europe where like every open source nerd goes to Brussels, more or less.
Yeah. So it's also free. So it's for the free open source, but it's also free to go to. So it makes it really easy for groups to actually show up there. But we not only have that, a part of the team's going to be in Iceland at the end of the month. And so we're currently gathering interest for that. Do we have that link in the blog post or do I need to share that? I think I need to share that one.
We'll share it. Yeah.
Okay. And then I am currently gathering interest from my colleagues to do the announcement for Home Assistant Community Day, so we can actually start planning that with you guys. And I'm hoping it'll be in March because we want to get it done before the State of the Open Home in April.
Yeah. So one of the things that we kind of want to kick in a higher gear is more meetups. I think there's a lot of cool people in our community that love talking about the war stories of getting those devices integrated, getting those automations in place. Like, there's so much cool stuff that everybody is doing that is worth sharing, and getting people in the same room will really see that, like, the sparks flying. And so we want to facilitate this more. And of course, we cannot do this alone. We're just a bunch of people. So we're heavily going to rely also on the community. And this is what Missy is working on.
Yep. Yeah. So basically what we want to do is help you guys throw your own community meetup. And we want to support that. We want to provide some stuff for you. We want to do custom swag for your area. So like, there's a lot of plans I actually have going into it. And hopefully I'll have more information before the end of the month.
Yep. Nice. What's the best place to stay up to date with all that stuff? We have a new Discord. What do you call it?
It's a channel.
It's a channel? Okay.
Yeah, it's a forums channel rather than a text channel. You got to be specific.
Okay. Subtypes and not the main type, like a nugget. It's like a...
Yeah. It's like a nugget.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Stop it. This is already next release we're talking about.
True. That's true.
That's true. So if you feel like KFC and such and nuggets, that's next release. That's the spoiler, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
So am I. It's my lunchtime.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, but that's Discord is the community updates and the events channel, I believe it's called. Is it
Yeah.
events? No,
So yeah,
yes,
for every
events.
meetup, we're trying to have a different topic where people can say they're interested, share whatever the pictures afterwards as well. So yeah, we had like Brussels there. We had Vegas. No, Vegas was not there. Maybe.
No, it was
Oh, yeah.
CES was there, but it was like
Oh,
it was right before it ended up
Oh, yeah,
happening.
yeah,
So it was really small for that one. But yeah, Iceland's in there right now. Fostum is in there, so you can see all the pictures and everything from everybody there too.
Can I share one of my favorite pictures from CES?
Do it.
Yeah.
For me personally, like this guy here, that's Dr. Z's. And for people that don't know, like I've been in contact with Dr. Z's for a long time, like since my fairly early touching of Home Assistant. We used to stream a little bit together at times as well. And meeting him for the first time in the real world, that was super cool. This guy is just freaking awesome. So yeah, this was definitely one of the highlights from me for CES.
Yeah, I know it was great. He came all the way down from what is it? Where is it? Utah, right? Like so.
Just to be at the meetup.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
What a hero.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we're through.
We're kind of
I
through,
think
huh?
we're through. Yeah.
That's cool. So after
Just
all
look
of this in the stream, you have more things to show.
No, yeah, I'm just looking. Do I have new gadgets that I'm like?
Oh, I have tons actually, to be honest, but not for today, I guess.
I was going to say we could
But-
talk about my e-paper displays that I finally got set up yesterday. So I'm
Oh.
slowly getting there. Yeah.
I can carry the battery around again, but it's way too heavy. So,
It looked like it had straps like a backpack, or what is the?
So these straps are just to get it out of the box, and then you remove them. I left them on.
Of course you did.
Like to carry it around a little bit. Like it's one of my feedback points. It's like it does not have handles, which I think is a little bit weird for something that's this heavy. But yeah, this is where you can join the chat, homeassistant.io/join chat. Subscribe to this thing
Channel.
here, this YouTube
This
channel. Like,
Give the
hit this
likeies.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yee.
Hit subscribe
you're-
to the bell.
If you're in Reykjavik, we share this topic on our socials. I just joined the Iceland Home Assistant user Facebook group. So hey,
Of course, there is one.
yeah, 770 people, which is like 1% of the country or something. So that's really impressive.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty good. No, we got everything in the Discord server, guys. Come join us over there. We're about to do our after party over there as well on the community stage.
That's true.
Exactly. So there's an after party on the Discord server. Join there. You can come on stage, ask a question, talk to us. Don't be afraid. We don't bite. But if you have something to tell, something to ask, and then that's the place to go. Go there, and we have a little bit of chat, a little drink, and then we're off to building the next release, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're still around watching after 2 hours of our talking about backups and voice, and you do not yet support our work, please support our work, because we're very passionate about this. We want to do more of this. And we can only do that with your help, right? We are not raising money. We cannot raise money. Home Assistant, I donated it to a foundation, and the foundation is bound to its mission. So we can only sustain ourselves by people supporting projects. So please subscribe, Home Assistant Cloud by Nabukasa. You can also support us by buying a Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition, buying a Home Assistant Green. All the revenue of all these things go into the Open Home Foundation, which goes back to you. So there were already some people saying, I don't want any cloud features. Great, you can just sign up and not log in your Home Assistant instance. Then you don't have any of the cloud features. You will be missing out, though, the voice stuff. Like, for example, just the voice stuff is so good already.
It's actually so good.
Yeah. Offsite backups, WebRTC. I mean, all that stuff.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like it's all included. So
Yeah. Yeah,
that's good.
But also, if you already have it, buy another one if you want to support us more. Like, we have a lot of people that do that.
We got to make 2 accounts, though. We don't support that online.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you got to make a second account.
Details.
Indeed.
Good.
All right. Thanks all for tuning in.
Yeah. We're going to see you all over on the other side.
Yes, and don't forget to tune in next Wednesday when we have the Chapter 9 live stream.
Yeah.
And the week after that, hop over to our sister project, ESP Home, because they will do the release party as well. They don't do that often, and Jesse is on the stream, I heard. So that's unique. I want to see that. I will be definitely tuning in and sitting back with a bucket of popcorn to watch that happen.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope to see you again next month.
Yes.
Yay. All right.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.